is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man.
I used to want to be like Michael Jordan. Figured I would hit the NBA and make me a fortune.
Every time I'm in my city, I be hacking like my don't stink. Used to clean my rolling chain with alcohol in the sink. Riding around with that I grew up with since McNeil. Bumping me against the world. Hello world, Kendrick here. And I'm too much for these. 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 Wayne told me that, and that's just how it goes. Michael Jordan. Bounce, 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 bounce. They make a wanna get some bread or bust a head up by enemies. Acting bad and getting rich. Pull up on them 26s. I'm a vanity slave. I'm a sinner. Jesus Christ, please forgive me for my ways. I don't know why you wanna me, and I don't know why you can't see. I'm a Comptown, represent a concrete backflipper, aka that. Don't worry.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And February 17th. A lot happening today. First of all, not in priority order per se. Happy birthday to the GOAT, the legend, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. We also saw the sunset on an icon, Mr. Jesse Jackson Sr., sending condolences, obviously, to his son who has a show on this station. He actually was on air today. I commend him for that. That takes immense strength and bravery and fortitude to know that the people need to hear from you as well. So appreciate you sharing your father with all of us and taking the time in your own space to share and reflect what he meant, not just to you, but what his legacy means, and to hear it directly from you was very special. So we appreciate that. But that doesn't mean that the life did not stop lifing in the social media world, although it stopped. You know, there are people on this station and in other areas that have eloquently covered Mr. Jackson and what he meant, not just to his family or to fans or to people that were around in the 70s for his voter registration drives, for Operation Push. I saw a lot of people posting him speaking to crowds of Black people of all ages. Yes, shout out to Forrest Harrison in the chat. You know, the VIPs are on it. I am somebody. And I was thinking, as I was looking at the multiple times and the multiple beautiful Black faces that were all throughout the crowd, was we were in manifestation mode, saying our affirmations before it was a thing, right there, claiming ourselves, upholding responsibility to one another, and setting the stage of how we would conduct ourselves, how we would treat each other, how would we think of one another, right? And I wonder if some of that, you know, we have the words, we have the cute memes and sayings, but where is the passion, the drilling behind it, and the action behind those words, you know? That was the difference in Mr. Jackson's legacy. It wasn't just words, there was action behind it and repeated action, that consistency that lets you know it's not just lip service. It's something that you are deeply committed to and you are putting in the work. Simply put, you are disciplined enough to repeat the process over and over and over again. You know, we all said it during Barack's first run for president, that this was built off the strength of Jesse's 2 runs back in the 80s and overall what he meant. So, like I said, there are much more informed or eloquent breakdowns that you can check out, but I just wanted to make sure to give homage to him and obviously to send love and light to our KBLA family. So listen, tonight we are getting into some things. There is another celebrity addressing their name being reportedly in the Epstein files. This time it's Whoopi Goldberg. You can hear her explanation for yourself and see if it tracks for you. We're also going to get into, there was a lot of complaints about last summer's EssenceFest. EssenceFest has been a staple of the culture since the 90s. But now we're in a space where obviously there were questions about Essence leadership. We saw some changes there following the results of last summer's EssenceFest. But will there be one this summer? We'll get into why there may not be. We'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about a conversation that Clifton Powell was involved in with Black men. And it got a little heated because Powell was sharing his experience as an almost 70-year-old man who has just begun to deal with certain emotional triggers and feelings. And he said for him, it took that long because he needed a Black woman to help open him up and show him those different things. And that got pushback from a young man in the conversation who had some very specific thoughts about Gen X men and the emotional labor he feels they put on Black women in order for them to work through their trauma. Excuse me, I said drama, but trauma. So we'll get into that. But before we do, we got a couple of conversation starters to get us going for the night. So first off, shout out to Jill Scott. Not only does she have a new album that is dropped, she did a Tiny Desk. We love Tiny Desk. And it is for the 25th anniversary of Long Walk. Is that the album? Her first album? So she did a Tiny Desk. Go check it out, right? And for you soap fans, we got a nostalgia alert coming up. If you're still into The Young and the Restless, right, get prepared because 2 characters beloved by fans are making their way back and are going to be popping up in the characters' orbit. Shamar Moore and Vivica A. Fox are reprising their roles this May. And, this is for all the daytime TV girls who grew up watching fine men cry dramatically, right? This is for all of us who knew that Vivica got her launch on Generations, then Young and the Restless with a little bit of Out All Night in between, right? It's legacy television, right? Who needs a TikTok house when you have the original Grand Dame? So that's coming in May. Make sure you check it out. And big ups to Cardi B. She had her concert 2 nights at the LA Forum, here at the Kia Forum, in Inglewood. And the second night she brought out Blueface, Kalani, and Tyla. The first night she brought out Glorilla, whole Avengers lineup on stage. One of Cardi's big hits early on was when she jumped on Blueface's Tatiana and flipped it. Like, that took that song to another level. That was a banger. So, big ups to her and the community that she created on stage. All right. When we come for it's A Long Walk and the Way. That's the Jill Scott albums that she played homage to. And she also performed 2 new joints from her new album, Beautiful People. So that's NPR Tiny Desk. When we come forward, we'll get more into these trending topics and headlines.
I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be in jail, but I am somebody. I may be uneducated, but I am somebody. I am black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be protected. I am somebody. Right on.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month Luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So if you want to join the conversation at any point during this long, it's not long, but, hour-long conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, you can hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Or you can hop into the YouTube chat with the VIPs. They are chatting. They always chat it up, and we love them. Speaking of, there's conversation in there, some thoughts reflecting on Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. Fahima says, Reverend Jackson was the first person I voted for as president. I met him at CBCF. ALC, not sure what that is. He was larger than life on panels. His support of Howard students protesting in 2021 was my last public memory of him. And DJ Black 909 typed out the affirmations, the positive words that were chanted by Dr. Jackson and reflected back. It's ironic that, was it just last week, maybe the Monday after the Grammys, when I was talking about the term Black excellence and how it's not one that I necessarily love. And I said I would be a fan of going back to something like Black is beautiful, say aloud, I'm Black and I'm proud. And this is kind of what I meant by that, because in Jesse's words, simple but powerful, no matter what position you are in. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be young, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody, But I don't know. Black excellence works too for some, just not me. All right. So listen, we've spent a bit of time talking about the Epstein files, right? And recently, some more files. And I don't mean recently. I'm talking about the 3 million files that were released with a lot of important information redacted, a lot of names included that, for some, myself included, thought that some of the names that we were focusing on were, distractions. That's the word I'm looking for distractions, right? But Whoopi Goldberg, her name was mentioned in the documents, and so she took to The View to kind of not state her case, but to get out there as far as the difference between her and others, because basically a lot of people have been scrambling for statements or not, positioning themselves, and Whoopi wasn't the only high profile woman who made a statement about her name being mentioned and the positioning of such, right? But they're making it crystal clear that they're not taking responsibility for someone else's crimes. And just because the name was mentioned, it doesn't mean that you have to take it out of context, right? Morris Phillips in the chat says, folks, public officials are resigning all over the world because of the Epstein files. But in America, we got a fox guarding the hen house. Well, it is true. Cassie Wasserman has recently resigned from his company that he started after several agents within there raised complaints because of the context in which his name was mentioned. So Whoopi is addressing where her name appeared, and she is publicly clarifying that being named in the documents does not mean wrongdoing. And I agree, context and nuance are key, right? Let's hear from Whoopi.
My name is in the files. Yes. And what does it say? It says Whoopi needs a plane to get to Monaco. John Lennon's charity, it should say Julian Lennon's charity, is paying for it. They don't want to charter, so they're looking for private owners. Here's the info. And they give all the information, and they're saying, do you want to offer your G2? Okay.
And it looks like they said no thanks.
Yeah.
So in other words, anybody can be on this list.
Well, this is my point, because I'm telling you, when I tell you people are trying to turn me into, I wasn't his girlfriend, I wasn't his friend.
You were too old for him.
I was not only too old, but it was at a time, where this is just not, you used to have facts before you said stuff.
But Trump is on the list 38,000 times.
Well, I can't speak to him, but I'm speaking about me because I'm getting dragged. People actually believe that was with him. It's like, honey, come on. Yeah. Every man that I've ever been with, you've known about him because either the Inquirer wrote it about it.
Yeah.
Your people wrote about this stuff. So no, I never had this, and no, I didn't get on the plane.
So I think that there's a couple of things here. One, stuff like this is why, and I'm not advocating for this, by the way, just making a statement, why at times government agencies, law enforcement, things of that nature hold back certain aspects of details that aren't directly relevant or involved in a crime. Because at this point, everything is just chaos and people aren't looking at the context with which some of these names are or aren't mentioned. They're getting distracted by stuff like Whoopi Goldberg and a plane or a fake tip about Jay-Z when there's real and clear focus and victims who have made statements. Why is there such an aversion to a truth that may not line up with your fantasies per se, or just the truth, period? I mean, if something you suspected is not true, I know that there are conspiracy theories, but at some point we have to put a little bit of common sense in the mix, Shout out to Fahimu, who says this administration knows exactly what they are doing. They do. They are sowing seeds of chaos, and people are falling for it. Maurice Guy says, dang, everybody in Hollywood had interactions with this guy. I think, one, Hollywood in and of itself, especially when you get to a certain revenue point, realm. Income, all of that, is a very small place, right? Two, it's been clear from a lot of these things. He was heavily involved in high-priced real estate in certain areas. That's how he crossed paths with Michael Jackson. He had a private plane that he at times would rent out like other people as a business. I mean, you cross paths maybe with the guy that works at 7-Eleven every morning. But if he committed a crime, are you guilty by association because you told him to have a good day and you chatted about the game last night? Nuance is key. And I just feel like it is important to look at the things, how they're laid out, and just use a bit of discernment.
You're not going to get that from anybody. In this world, we got too many sheep around this world. That's why we have shows like you to break it down, because ain't nobody want to take the time to do the research. And this is why, in my opinion, any celebrity, any public figure that's had any interactions with Epstein, even utilizing your example of just seeing this person every day, and I've just said hi, I think you guys should come out and speak and be like, hey, if you ever see my name in the Epstein files, this is what my relationship was off the rip, especially if you know that you're not guilty of anything heinous.
But let me ask you this. At this point, does even saying that do anything? Because people really don't seem to believe, everything's a cover-up. Everything is a lie. Everything is spin.
I'd rather you open your mouth before the actual documents come out, which would allow me to kind of, come up to my own conclusions.
Do you have any friends that have ever done a bid or anything like that?
Yes.
Would you qualify yourself with someone because you still have people that may have led debaucherous lifestyle at one point?
I mean, if it's going to be something that might be detrimental to just my legacy, my character, whatnot, maybe.
Okay.
But if I was out there on the streets with him, doing my thug thizzle with him, I'm not saying nothing. But I'm just saying, for those who are innocent,
right,
who have not participated in any of the heinous activities, come up and open your mouth before your name pops up in the Epstein files, and people are, they're going to come up to their own conclusions, and they're going to go ahead and drag you, knowing that this is not true.
So one other person that was mentioned is Naomi Campbell, and she posted a statement saying, I said it in 2019 and I'll say it again now. Don't come at me when there is no wrongdoing on my part. I stand in complete solidarity with the courageous survivors. Naomi has previously testified that while she met Epstein socially, she was never involved in any illegal activity. Her original statement dates back to 2019 and was reposted after the newest document release puts her name back into the headlines, right? And we have to be clear, there's a little bit of everyone's names include, again, I am not in defense of, I am just for the clarity, right? From accusers to witnesses to people who were merely mentioned in emails and flight manifests. So no charges, no convictions, mentions. We got to figure out what we want to focus on, right? Social media doesn't know how to sit with nuance. Everybody gets the same energy. But we live to fight another day. When we come forward, we're going to get into what's going on with EssenceFest and Clifton Powell. Do Gen X black men, this is what the young man said, not me, put emotional labor on black women? We know we've seen that conversation on social media, but we'll hear this from two men discussing it. All of that and more.
Ain't no clarity in my will. That rolling bezel dancing, that clarity in my wrist. That 40 get the dance and I carry it on my hip. I ain't gon' feel no pressure, don't care how these niggas feel. I ain't gon' keep on stressing, no problems, I'm doing drugs. You can't see it how I see it, you can't keep up. All my enemies defeated, we run it up. All my money going away when I count it up.
Used to kiss my granny, make my morning swerves. Foggy window in my cutlass was my learning curve. Keep a couple pistols in my furniture. Every time they serve my set, we come and service yours. Tell you something about my city, case you never heard.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Reverend Al Sharpton is mourning the loss of civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson. Sharpton says he's known Jackson since he was just 12 years old and credits him with shaping both American politics and his own life.
So he made me believe even a kid on welfare in Brownsville, Brooklyn, could be somebody.
Jackson, who worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., is remembered for carrying the civil rights movement forward after Dr. King's assassination. Former President Barack Obama says there's still one person he hopes to meet, Pope Leo XIV. The Chicago-born pontiff and the first pope from the U.S. has never met the 44th president. Speaking on the No Lie podcast, Obama says he's looking forward to a future meeting. And actor Coleman Domingo will receive the President's Award at this year's NAACP Image Awards, honoring his distinguished public service and cultural impact. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
La Crescenta, the 210 westbound, slowing down, leaving the 2. Delays pretty heavy ahead all the way to Hubbard Street. It's also affecting travel on that northbound side of the 2. It's slowing, approaching the 210 freeway. Out of Burbank, North 5, jamming up away from Hollywood Way. You're on the brakes ahead to the 14, making that connection into Santa Clarita. 14 northbound, slowing from the 5, looking better by Soledad Canyon Road.
Escape the confines of the city for the expansive beauty of the Santa Ynez Valley with a short 2-hour drive up the coast. Let Chumash Casino Resort be your destination getaway. Welcome to freedom. Go to chumashcasino.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A couple of sports questions come up as people around the world remember the life and legacy of civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. What if the San Francisco Giants had offered Jackson more than $6,000 in 1959 to sign a minor league baseball contract? Jackson was a standout pitcher at Sterling High School in Greenville, South Carolina. What if the University of Illinois had given Jackson a fair chance to play quarterback? At 6'4", Jackson had the size and skills to earn a full scholarship from the Big Ten Conference school. Jackson stayed at Illinois just 1 year. He transferred in 1960 to HBCU North Carolina A&T. Jackson led A&T to the CIAA championship in 1964, but it was at North Carolina A&T where Jackson's focus shifted away from sports. Today, we can thank the San Francisco Giants and the University of Illinois for sending Jackson into a much more valuable direction. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Joe cracked the dawn. Got it. Shante. Terror Squad. Be about us. Be about you. Number one. Got to do with it. Got to do with it, baby. What's love? It should be about us. It should be about us. What's love? Yeah, slow down, baby. Let you know from the gate, I don't go down, lady. I want a chick with thick hips and licks her lips. She could be the office type, but like the strip. Girl, you get me aroused, how you look in my eyes. But you talk too much, man, you're ruining my high. I don't wanna lose the feeling, cause the roof is ceiling is on fire. And you look
looking good for the getting. I'm a rider, whether in a hoodie or a linen, a provider. You should see the jury on my women, and I'm living it up. The squad stay filling the truck with chicks that's willing to trizz with us.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Ashanti. She was performing at the Kia Forum on Saturday night for DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic event. So I heard it was litty, you know. That good throwback jams. All your faves were out there taking the stage, hitting it for the throwbacks. Andy.
I don't know, that just brought me back.
You just felt like you just a moment, huh?
Well, I mean,
what was that, like 99 when that dropped?
This one?
2000?
This like 02.
02?
02, 03.
Okay.
Yeah, I was graduating high school around that time. So
okay.
I just remember, all the little, high school dances and all the little high school festivities.
That was lit?
I remember when this song would come on and,
okay.
I just felt like it was a good little segue.
Good little segue, little
what we
good
about to
feelings.
talk about.
Okay. Well, it kind of is because, listen, we know every 4th of July holiday weekend down in New Orleans. Don't be talking about my fake New Orleans accent. EssenceFest pops off, right? And it has been a destination. We talked about last year how some felt the festival was no longer delivering on the good vibes and promises that it had been known for. They felt that there was an inauthentic fit trying to plug in younger acts when it was really more for the aunties and uncles. Some felt that there was too much exclusivity, that the American Black community wasn't being showcased and focused on as it had been in past because of the new ownership and executives that were in charge at Essence. So, there was a lot of things that happening. And now there are rumors that EssenceFest is not just culturally in a pickle, but financially as well. So this hurts a little to hear, right? So there are rumors claiming that Essence Festival organizers still owe somewhere between $400,000 and $600,000 to the city of New Orleans, including the convention center from last year's event, plus monies owed to other contractors that were involved, right? And commenters are saying that this is the downfall of Essence, that if you look online, there's no website set up yet highlighting any of the acts that are supposed to be showing up. There are no rumored acts out there. Some people are saying, oh, I heard maybe Boys to Men. Oh, I heard Glorilla. But there's no tickets on sale on Ticketmaster, no packages, none of that. So we do have to wonder what's going on, right? And again, some pointed last year to DEI backlash. They were upset with Essence for taking Target sponsorship dark dollars, but Essence and Target had already entered in a multi-year partnership prior to the boycotts that happened last year. So I don't know what's going to happen, right? We're seeing brands, some, although it wasn't apparent this weekend, but I guess maybe NBA All-Star is more about sport than the culture that it heavily leans on. Brands have quietly pulled back, we know, from some sponsored events, from pressure from this administration. So we'll have to see what develops, but it's not just festival tea. It's about Black business infrastructure. And it saddens us when we see our long-standing, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking on the word, but those things. I want to say tentpole, but that's not really it. Our long-standing structures fall to the wayside. We went through something similar with Ebony and Jet for a while. We've talked about others. So if this is the quote downfall of Essence, It's really sad because the EssenceFest wasn't just a party. It's hotels, it's vendors, it's stagehands, it's makeup artists, it's security, it's local workers, it's local businesses, and it's our history between those pages and what it represented. So I hope that that is not the case, but this is what DEI rollbacks look like. We have to keep pressing forward. Support independent Black media. All right, listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into one of those. Before we get into that, I do have something else I can add. So we've been talking a lot about, tonight at least, the culture, right? And we've looked at it from different perspectives. Obviously, Morris Phillips says, Jill, you must be talking about the United States Constitution. What do you mean? I'm not understanding. Well, listen, I just think, once again, it is important to remember your views, your participation, all of those are votes. All of those are keeping stories alive, keeping the things that you're into visible and relevant. And now more than ever, it's important that you support what you love, right? And you look at something like the legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson. He kept going when it was unpopular, when he wasn't the one, when he wasn't necessarily the two. But he kept uplifting and fighting for us. So I think it's important to remember things that I know that is kind of a hard left to some degree when we're talking about Essence Festival. But I think we're looking at our institutions dying. We're looking at a very change in how we consume media, what counts as media, what is valuable as far as we're having debates on the truth in this current era. So be supportive of the things that you value, especially if they're institutions. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Institutions that we want to continue to see. Essence has been around for a little over 50 years. It was so important to that time period where Jesse Jackson was saying, say it loud. Well, no, that's James Brown. Say it loud. Jesse was saying, I am somebody. But you get my point. All of that was in the same time period. It's in the same time capsule, right? So words mean things. The things that we look at mean things. And we got to continue to support important things that value and uplift us without using the word Black excellence. All right, when we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
My name is Tyrone Owens, and this is my home for 23 years that burned in the fire. Me and my wife, Charlene, we had this whole yard decorated every year.
This was the house that sparkled throughout the entire neighborhood on all the holidays. It's a community that will never be the same due to the negligence of a utility company. So I am pretty upset about that.
We were nowhere near being able to rebuild with our insurance. It's going to cost $1 million to put your house back up.
I want to get back to that point where we were before the fire. I'm starting to get emotional, but I'll work through it. LA Fire Justice has been wonderful for us. They're just caring people. We have all faith in them.
Big ups to LA Fire Justice, who's given us hope to rebuild 100%.
Advertisement. Douglas Foster, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. All right, let's fight. You guys ready to fight? Because we're going to fight. We're going to argue about this topic. I guarantee you. All right, Clifton Powell, you know who he is. He's Pinky from, is it next Friday or Friday after next? Pinky from next Friday. He was Chauncey in Menace to Society. He has been in numerous TV shows and films. He's one of our faves, right? But that doesn't mean that he might not make a statement or two that might upset some people, right? So, in a vulnerable moment, he was sharing how it took him at almost 69, 70 years old to learn how to open up, be vulnerable, basically to, get his emotional IQ in check, right? That's fine. It's a different time. Men weren't encouraged to be open or to be vulnerable or to understand that balance, right? I know people hate when you say it was a different time, but it was. So different versions of manhood and what manhood looked like was pushed off on a lot of men. Okay, let's start there. So he was expressing how it took a woman to open him up, to make him understand vulnerability and those emotions. And that is the case for a lot of men. Do you know? And for a lot of time, that is something that was considered virtuous for women. It was something that they should do. I see Zoe Williams out there. He's looking like, why are you talking about my things, Jill? But it's true. Women were encouraged to help build a man, right? But in this new generation where we all have been taught to explore our feelings and to learn about these type of things at a younger age, perhaps, and it's a little bit more ingrained into society, the younger generation sees an older person saying this and thinks they're just on BS. Basically, that he's making excuses and lacking accountability for his own emotional stability, right? So as you can imagine, the conversation got a little heated. So let's listen with open ears. We listen, we don't judge, and we'll get into it.
Just talking about, I'm 70 years old, so I come from a whole nother era than any of you Negroes is talking about. And what I've learned, and I'm not saying I'm right, I think everybody is right, because there's so many levels to this. But most of this was laid on our parents' parents. Yeah. My father was born in 1915, and his parents were slaves. Well, his grandparents were slaves. So what I've learned is it's not your mother's fault, it's not your father's fault, it's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love. And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate black women.
I just want to talk about in Luke, make sure I say the name right, crop this part out. Okay. What Luke brought up was like accountability, like, yes, we can talk about, you know, what our families did to us, all this, all that, but eventually, and I know why people try and say this, and I really don't like that, but eventually comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you know, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired, and, you know, kind of like putting onto them like, hey, like, you didn't do this entirely, because everybody in here, several people have talked about, like, you know, going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know how to love.
Can I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by this.
It's all right, just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me...
I want to live my life right. I want someone to take care of me and protect me, and that's what a lot of women have issues with.
Because I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said, I said 60, good, but you're not going to disrespect me. Oh, I am. I do.
You don't know what the you talking about.
Oh, I do. You can't. I do.
So there's a lot happening there.
I'm living.
Right.
I'm living it right now. You cannot fix no that you don't even know what's happening.
I think there's a misunderstanding.
No, but he's generalized. You can't. No, listen, bro. Let me stop. This is what it is. Let's get to the truth. You can't fix no unless you meet somebody who is on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the is. You can't fix some that you don't know about, bro.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loved all this time. That's what our parents have gone through, and that's why we also right.
You asked, how do we love black women? Yeah. That's right here. Trust black women and listen to black women, because they know more than we do what it is that they need.
I don't think that's true either. There's a lot of black women who don't know how to love.
I'm not talking about what they know how to love. I'm saying what they need as far as the reproduction.
I get that.
That's what we're talking about right now. Also, if we're going to use our privilege and power as men in society, how do we show up and be accountable, like you said?
So there's a lot happening there, a lot of arguing. But I think the young man, he's an influencer. I believe his name is Joshua. I understood his perspective, right? Because a lot of people are lazy and lack accountability. But I more understood what Clifton was saying, because if you don't know how your behaviors, your tendencies, if you were raised in dysfunction, you don't know it's dysfunction. It's just life. So I think in both cases, maybe the young man needed to listen a little more. I know he felt very sure in his perspective, and it's not that he was wrong. However, and what I think we bump up against quite a bit is context is key, and nuance in some of these conversations, right? Because if you've grown up in a time period where it's okay for you to express your feelings, you have no idea. You can imagine what it might have been like, but you really have no idea to know the ways in which black malehood was, I don't want to say restricted, but there are certain ideas that don't line up with black male identity or male identity overall that are more in step currently. There's a process to it. And sometimes it might be a woman, sometimes it might be a friend, sometimes it might be a therapist, right? But once you're made aware, the accountability is on you to fix it. But like he says, you don't know what you don't know. Andy?
The young man was super disrespectful. I wasn't feeling him at all. I'm curious to know how old he is.
I think he's they said that he was maybe late 20s, early 30s.
I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. Like you said, I mean, he's growing up in an era where, you know, you're taught to talk about your feelings and stuff like that. So in conversations like this, a lot of the times I just wish that people would lead with a little bit of empathy and try to gain understanding. Like you said, there's a lot of nuance there. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking as a 70-year-old man who was not taught about, how to, control your emotions. I had watched something with Cam Newton and Steve Smith. You know what I'm saying? I guess they had an issue with each other, back in their playing days or whatnot, but they finally came together and actually sat down and, spoke about whatever issues. And Steve Smith, he's in his early 40s or whatnot. And I mean, it's no comparison to Clifton Powell, but still, even in his 40s, he was just like, yo, just the other day, I realized this aspect about myself. So I just feel like, man, like we as we age, we are continuing to evolve. Everybody's not going to be on the same level as you as far as enlightenment goes or whatnot. I just wish the young man had just a little bit more empathy with Clifton.
I do as well. I think that, we're so used to casting villains or heroes. It's very black or white as far as development and acceptance and where we are currently. And we know that social media has fed into a lot of this because some of it is performative. I would hope in your day-to-day real-life interactions with people, you exercise a little bit more empathy. I'm not saying allow your boundaries to be trampled over or to let foolishness fly, but to respect that everyone didn't have the same environment to grow and to gain knowledge. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time. That's all. Listen, I want to thank you guys, as always, for tapping in with me each and every Monday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow for All Up in the Business Wednesdays and more trending topics and headlines. Coming up next is Zoe Williams. I'm back at it tomorrow.
Yeah. You had a lot of crooks try to steal your heart. Never really had luck, couldn't never figure out how to love. You had a lot of moments that didn't last forever. Now you in a corner trying to put it together. How to love. For a second you were here, now you over there. It's hard not to stare. The way you moving your body like you never had a love. Never had a love. When you was just a young and your looks were so precious, but now you grown up so fly, it's like a blessing. But you can't have a man look at you for 5 seconds without you being insecure. You never credit yourself, so when you got older, it seems like you came back 10 times over. Now you're sitting here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Civil rights icon and two-time Democratic presidential candidate Reverend Jesse Jackson has